are you running for mayor?
Well, that's a really good question, Sydney. The reason I'm running for mayor is because I was approached by members of the community who feel as though the mayor has not been proactive, he's not been responsive, and he's not listening to them. And I think that's a big problem. We're in a time of crisis. An international pandemic is a time where folks need to be heard. They need to be communicating, and the mayor needs to be communicating with them, and they feel as though they've been let down and there's a lack of leadership. So I agreed to step in to be their voice.
What do you feel are the biggest issues that the city of Pismo is currently facing?
Well, I would say probably the biggest issue is the COVID situation. And the city, I think, particularly the mayor, could have been a whole lot more proactive about putting in an ordinance to protect everybody. We are a city that is dependent on tourism, but the way it's been handled is that the mayor basically voted to put the onus on employees to wear masks and put a sign in the window and then have to police everybody who comes in the door and tell them to wear their masks, which puts them in a terrible position because now they have to choose between getting a good tip or making good decisions about everybody's health collectively.
How do you plan to address the economic impact of COVID-19 for the city and also just local businesses in the area?
Well, we are dependent on tourism here, but we need to make sure that we are safe with that. We don't want a strong economy, but everybody getting sick and this becoming a hot spot. So the first thing I want to do is I want to enact an ordinance to encourage everybody to wear masks and social distance and follow the guidelines of scientists and medical professionals. So that's the first thing. On top of that, I think there are some changes that we can make over time to help us begin to create a more outdoor focused environment in the city. And that includes things like a bicycle path that helps people experience the Central Coast outside of their cars. And that also addresses our parking problems and our traffic snarls and gets everybody outside breathing fresh air where they're getting some exercise.
How do you plan to balance the interests of tourists but also the needs and the interests of local city residents in Pismo?
Well, that's a balance. It is a balancing act. And part of what we need to do, I think, is communicate with the residents so that we understand what the community wants as we move forward. We're going to continue to see big growth in Pismo Beach, whether we're ready for it or not. And I think we need to be planning with intelligent growth, which preserves our small town beach culture, but also prepares for more people on a regular basis. So those are infrastructure things. And part of that has to do with addressing parking, traffic, COVID-19, and trash on the beaches.
And I know today you've already been going around talking to a lot of residents, making sure that they're registered to vote this November. What else are you doing right now to ensure that you do unseat the mayor right now, who's currently the incumbent?
Well, I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to hear what people want and what they think. And what I keep hearing is that very few people even know who the existing mayor is. They don't know who the incumbent is. He's been in office for 2 terms, was a city council member before that. That's a problem. We need communication now. And he should be out front on all of this, I think, and helping everybody solve some of these problems.
And I know you've been carrying around your hand sanitizer, very clever of you.
Yes.
Wearing the masks, social distancing, it's all very new and it's been going on for several months now.
Yeah.
What has been the most challenging part of that, running for office during this pandemic, this unprecedented time we're in?
Well, that's a good question. I would say, what's the most challenging part of that? In terms of campaigning, it's a little bit tougher environment because you have to make sure that everybody feels comfortable. So I'm wearing my mask, I'm using a lot of hand sanitizer, I'm dropping off flyers, I'm not trying to talk too closely to anybody, and I maintain that good, safe distance. If people want to talk to me, I'm happy to do that, but I step back, make sure that they're kept safe, and then we can have this discussion that I think is so badly needed.
Where do you hope to see the city of Pismo in the next 2 years if you are elected as mayor?
Well, I I want to see the city tackling these trash problems. I want to see the city beginning to work on mitigating some of the traffic snarl problems, and I want to see us beginning to really work on parking. We have tremendous parking problems all over the city, and there's a variety of different things that we can do, including regular trolley service, expanding the bicycle path, get people outside and out of their cars. And also the COVID situation, I think we need to really make sure that we're keeping everybody safe, and that means top-down information coming from the city, from the mayor's office, encouraging people to wear masks. And it doesn't have to all be stick. It doesn't have to be police writing tickets. It can be just reminders. It can be encouragement. It can be incentives. So a lot of these problems surrounding communities have worked on and figured out a long time ago. We can do the same thing. We can also learn. And this is a good time to do that.